Hello everyone, this is Tom Worth Jr. and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a quick shout out to the Trump commenters calling me out for the communist that they think I am. Got a little red handle here. That I would say, quick word of advice, look that word up. I don't think that word means what you think it does. I'm not a communist. Kamala Harris is not a communist. Tim Walz is not a communist. We'll leave that at that. And also on communism, which is actually something you learn about in junior high and high school and college economics classes. I want to talk about economics today. Specifically, Donald Trump's supposed mastery of business and economics. This is the issue that he far outpaces Kamala Harris on nationally, and it makes no sense whatsoever. As with everything Donald Trump touches, economics and business, is anything he touches turns to turns to something worse than it was before he touched it. You look at his own businesses throughout his life, his multiple business bankruptcies, and honestly, all bankruptcy is, it doesn't mean you don't know how to make money. It means you're spending more money than you're making, and you don't have any way to pay your bills. You're not making enough money to pay your bills. So you can either reduce your expenses, you can raise your revenue, you can get investors to give you more money in exchange for a piece of your company if they believe in you. That's not typically, people don't believe in Donald Trump. You can get banks to lend you money if you're not able to make enough to pay for your own bills for your business. This is something he does a lot and always has. That is called debt. That is what Donald Trump has always been known for 50 years and is still known for, including his time as the President of the United States. You could go back to his business bankruptcies, not being able to pay off his loans and therefore declaring bankruptcy. You could go back to Trump University, which had $25 million judgment against it for defrauding people who paid money. And this is not a university. It's called Trump University. They're seminars that people, you can question the wisdom of these people for signing up for this, but that is something where Trump lost a lawsuit, at least one lawsuit over. You have the $355 million civil judgment against him earlier this year, the state of New York, for what? For business dealings, for lying about the values of his properties. He would inflate them and deflate them to the most egregious levels ever seen. He was barred from serving as a director of an officer of any New York corporation for 3 years and fined almost $355 million. And this is something that goes way back over his business career and up to more recent times. Also, 34 out of 34 felony count convictions for falsifying business records. So you can't come at me saying he's a great businessman. He's not. He is one of the all-time worst businessmen. And what enables him to really vault up that list is people keep lending him money. Why would anyone keep lending him money? Well, what's in it for them? Political favor. That's what's in it for them. That's why even respectable international banking units, you can always get one guy on the take who will personally approve your stuff, your loans to Donald Trump. And you may not even know about it as a bank, but you've got this private banker who has a lot of authority, a lot of leeway to take risky loans, and who knows what's promised to him in return. Because Donald Trump's never, ever going to pay back his loans. You look at the United States government itself. He runs as this business genius. He is the furthest thing from a business or economics genius you could ever find. He is a liar, cheater, and stealer, well established. You roll those three words into one word, and it's fraud. And that is what he is perpetually being convicted of, is fraud. At a civil level, at a business level, it's... I don't know why this myth about him persists, but it does. Because you can look at the polling from right now, and he's kind of killing Kamala Harris on economics. It makes no sense. When he took over the presidency in January of 2017, the federal, not the federal deficit, but the federal debt had ballooned to $19 trillion. It's if you look at a graph, it's just always going up like this through all the presidencies, all the administrations, and it's continuing to go up. 19 trillion when he entered office, 27 trillion when he left office. It went up $8 trillion. It went up almost 50% in the 4 years he was here. Could you attribute it to COVID? Some of it, absolutely. He handed out the Congress, with his approval, handed out $3 trillion in COVID relief in 2020. That's only $3 trillion, not $8 trillion. He was already going further in the hole before COVID. He decides to implement a bunch of tariffs. He decides to start a trade war. He decides to slap tariffs on, starting with steel and aluminum. Why those? Well, it's going to get him votes in a swing state like Pennsylvania, but his Commerce Secretary is a guy several years older than him named Wilbur Ross, and he's as old school as it gets. He used to run steel and aluminum or coal companies. He was in all kinds of stuff. He has more bankruptcies for his companies than Trump could ever dream of having. This guy, and he remained, Trump cranked through a lot of cabinet members, but Wilbur Ross was his Commerce Secretary the whole 4 years. That dude's 86 now. He's still rocking along, I guess. I don't know what he's up to. I'm sure Trump will probably try to bring him back if he wins again. That guy wanted a protectionist steel and aluminum industry in America. So you have cheap steel coming in from around the world. Okay, slap your tariffs on it, make it way too expensive for foreign steel to compete. Does that help the U.S. consumer? No, it doesn't. It makes prices go up for the U.S. consumer because these U.S. steel companies aren't dropping their prices. They're still charging too much, but you've just eliminated their international competition. It's like if you told Apple it couldn't bring in any iPhones from China anymore. What's going to happen to the cost of iPhones? It's going to skyrocket. You have to have this international economy. The U.S. is the strongest economy the world has ever known. Why? Because of international trade. Who's in second place? China. Why? Because of international trade. When you start a trade war, there are no winners. Everybody loses. The countries lose, the industries lose, consumers lose, we all lose. That was Trump's strategy, to start this trade war with China, but not just China. Also our allies who produced things that like steel and like aluminum that they could sell in the U.S. Okay, he then makes tens of billions of dollars in tariffs. Oh, great for the U.S., right? Well, it's not really going to cut into multi-trillion-dollar deficits, but that's okay. No, it's not okay because this was so laughable. Keep in mind, I'm an options trader at this point. I'm looking at this economics news every day, and we are just whipsawing every day within the day. things that are always held for outside of business hours, outside of trading hours, he just unleashes it. He starts trading wars. He stops trading wars. He'll start them again. He'll slap tariffs on. He'll remove tariffs, all in the blink of an eye. It is dizzying, and nobody knows what he's doing. His people, his cronies who are in cabinet positions, they're either fired over Twitter, or they're resigning, or they're staying on because they know if they resign, they're the only somewhat voice of reason, and then he'll bring on his lackeys, and then all will be lost. So this is all going on. He brings in some tens of billions of dollars over some time of these tariffs. In the meantime, this is really when price inflation started, is the price of steel and the price of aluminum, which goes into everything we make. Not everything, a lot of things we make starts just absolutely skyrocketing directly because of these tariffs. So what does he have to do now? Well, countries retaliate. You're not buying our steel? Okay, we're not going to buy what you make. Well, what is some of the stuff we make? Well, we grow things. Farmers, they grow food. They export it to the world. A lot of it. They can't do this anymore. These countries say, okay, we're not going to be importing the food you're growing anymore. Okay, farmers lose tens of billions of dollars. Trump takes the tens of billions of dollars that he's raked in from tariffs and gives tens of billions of dollars to farmers who can no longer sell what they've grown. That is the genius of this man. He never thinks anything through. He is the worst. He's the last person on earth you would ever want in charge of any business, any venture, any purse strings, any humans, anything. You would never want this man in charge of anything. Yet here he is killing Kamala Harris on economic issues. It is just a complete... I don't know. I don't know how this myth persists about him. I have already said that, but it does. You bring in this guy, he's only going to be worse in everything he does next time around. That's where we're at on economics. I guess I'll end it right there. I think I might be going a little bit longer on this today, but hopefully not too much. I did watch the interview last night with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Thought they did exactly what they needed to do. Didn't get too far into the weeds on things. She fielded every question, every tough question, and there were a few. She never lost her composure, never lost her sense of humor, never lost her humanity. She had answers for things, and I mean, she just came across as someone who's got the mentality for the job, someone who prepares for the job, someone who's not overwhelmed by anything, and that's exactly what she needed to do last night, and I thought she did so. Anyway, we're heading into Labor Day weekend here, long weekend, and I hope you guys have a good one, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bye.